Oh, hello. I'm Steve, and welcome back to City Skylines, where we have been building the city of Lost Heaven. And it's been going pretty well. We got our cargo train terminal, which caused a little bit of a mishap with traffic right over here, but we fixed that last time. We've been filling in a lot of the different infrastructure and building out into the new portion of our city. So we're going to unpause and start up the game. So we're looking at, we don't have a lot of demand just this second, but we have a good income. We have a lot of other things going for us. We're gonna see maybe what is the major concerns of our citizens. Trash is good. The schooling seems to be pretty good. The new people who are moving in, obviously they haven't gone to school really yet. Happiness seems to be at a pretty good rate. The commercial happiness is the only one that's below the deep sky blue type deal. We have health, which is fairly good. 70% could be a little higher, but our capacities and everything else are very nice. We have levels, which are actually fairly high. You can see in here we've upgraded a lot of them with giving them the services and land value that they needed. We have fire safety, which other than in this heavy section right here and right here seems to be fairly good. Our fire coverage, I guess, could increase over time, but right now I think we're actually doing fairly well with that. Let's see, traffic. We have some heavy traffic actually going on right here, which I might be able to mitigate with a little time. Noise pollution, mostly of course in our industrial areas and everything else. With the buffers, they're not affecting our residential all that much. And we've kept a lot of the other noise-making stuff a little bit further away from our residences. So that's not too big of a problem. Let's close this pop-up here. We got, let's see, crime, which is at a very low rate, so that's all good. We got our transports. Our metro that we created in the old part of the city is doing fairly well. We'll extend it out here in a little bit, I imagine. Our population is nice and growing at a steady rate. Our outside connections, land value. What's our land value looking like? I mean, the borders, obviously, but we have high land value in most of our residential and bordering our commercial, which is what we want, because the industrial doesn't benefit as much so from that. We only have 2 districts so far. I mean, I haven't really seen the heavy need for making new districts at the moment. Plus, I wanted a little bit of input from you guys to try and get names for all our districts. So we're gonna get back to here. It seems that our commercial demand is going up a little bit. Oop. I don't know why the tutorials are starting to pop up again, because I'm pretty sure I had disabled them. Either way, it's probably because I was looking through all of the info windows. So what we're gonna do is start to extend and build on to this area right here, which we were trying to get commercial in. We'd actually added a lot of commercial right here at the edge of our industrial, because that demand has seemed to be a bit higher than our other needs at the moment. Gonna place down some more high demand or high density commercial. I know that we were going to mirror this, and since we went all along the top here with commercial, I'm thinking that it's probably not a bad idea. We can extend some more offices right here to handle what's incoming with the industrial. And look at those people, they're moving in, they're getting all happy from the commercial. We got leveling up happening along here. How's our water doing? We may need some more water. Let's see, our pumps are right here. I think I'm gonna just add another one right here. Oh. Come on. Okay, this is acting a little weird. There you go. You're connected now. And we are going to throw in a new... Actually, you know, I think we should start using the treatment plants, in fact, which are going to start cleaning up. We will eventually be able to get rid of all these old pumps so that we can have a little bit cleaner water. Not that it matters as much so the way we did it. It's all flowing heavily downstream, not affecting our city. So that's less of a concern. Let's see. I'm gonna probably plant down a few more of our heavy residential districts right here. And let's see what we can do over here. As it said, yeah, we have some pretty severe block-ups right here. I'm thinking maybe we can fix this. With upgrades, might get everything flowing a little bit better. But I'm seeing that it's mostly right around here that seems to be a bit of an issue. But I'm not seeing exactly why. It's backing up right along here too. It's because even though we made these changes, we're having immense problems coming into the city. Not that this is going to upgrade too much, but it'll cause the sound pollution to go down a little bit. This is something that we might need to actually fix by getting rid of some of the old roads that have been, you know, some of the old infrastructure here that is created by the game makers. That, and we're gonna need some more help dealing with all this traffic. As you saw last time, I did fix that to a point, but they're all coming this way now. Like, the traffic that's coming back into this part of the city, for the most part, has been rectified. But I'm thinking that we need to have a little bit more in the way of entrance into this part and this part of the city. Because a lot of this traffic happens to be workers. That, or simply the trucks coming back to this section of the city. I'm not completely sure where we're going to do this. Sorry, I'm just mulling over the possibilities in my head. Because, let's see, I could actually do something along this line. see if that helps at least a little bit. Once the people who have been backed up a bit realize that they can get into the city right here, yeah, there we go with a little bit of it, it might clear it up just a bit. Some of them are moving up this way. Just some of it is really crazy, and I'm not quite sure how we're going to deal with that. But let's see if those minor changes help out at all. And we're going to have to extend these lines a little bit more again. And feed the water into the further edges of our city. So, if you're asking what next we will be attempting to do, is as we're probably going to want to try and mess with this, which we're finally getting to a spot where the normal transportation is becoming a little bit of a problem. In one specific area, mind you, but nonetheless a problem. So we need a bus depot, I imagine. Bus depots, they're important. They will, I mean, now they're important as much so. But I think we're going to want to have a little bit of access everywhere, which I think we can get right along here to empty out the buses into our city on a less packed area. And we're gonna probably want another bus depot further up on the other side. And these are away from the residentials. Again, I try to keep them as far away from residential as possible in order to keep down the noise pollution. Now, our main goal is going to be to connect all the different areas of the city. Ooh. A little bit of a thing there. But I'm imagining that, yeah, the bus stops aren't going to really cause any new buildings. The bus stops simply tell my my people where to stop in their routes. And I'm thinking that we're going to try and do a nice little roundabout here. And we're going to want a lot of stops. For bus routes, it's important to have a good amount of stops for our citizens. And coming around the outside, and then we'll have some lines that have to do with internal, you know, within the different districts. And that's probably going to help out a lot. I gotta admit, this is probably something that I should have done earlier. Not as much so that we didn't have as much of a problem until the cargo train terminal. As I said, mostly all our traffic problems have arisen from that cargo train terminal. And I think we can solve it by reducing our residential and you know, our workers' paths, you know? It's gonna be a little bit of a weird pathing, I think, that I'm taking, but I think it's gonna work. We're going to just kind of loop around, because these are the outsides. Like I did with the subway, these are the outsides of our little ring. And we're going to complete the line there and create a new line that manipulates things within our... Ooh, actually, Let's create it here. And it's going to be the internal ring of bus lines. We're probably going to need a few more terminals, in fact, to send out extra buses when I'm done. But as of right now, I'm thinking that we're going to be able to handle this in a nice, neat fashion, in fact. Okay, and then we get our next line here. I know this isn't the most entertaining of assorted city building, but this is a very important part. Now, sometimes these lines seem to crisscross and everything else, but you know, when laying down these lines, I'm not completely sure that it's as imperative that they're all straight and, you know, organized. Because right now, they still will follow a path and they have the same stops regardless. So we're not really looking to get it too fancy. We're not, you know, specifically looking to get it all nitpicked and all that jazz. So I'm thinking that we're gonna be perfectly fine with it in this general idea. Like I said, we're gonna have the internals and everything else, but we are gonna have to have it connecting all our city. So we're gonna have a specific line that brings people from one side of the city to the new part. The old to the new. Seems reasonable to me. And I don't think that's gonna be much of a problem. Honestly, these, like I said, these stops, they're not deathly important. Where did it? Yeah, let's just complete it like that. How's our electricity? We need a little bit more power pumping into our city. We have more than enough money to just go crazy right here and build enough that, you know, our city won't worry about electricity for a little bit. I know we have some of the new stuff, but honestly, this being out in a very good wind section in the lake is probably the most efficient way we can do this, and clean way, because it's not going to muck up everything, and it's not going to take up, as I said, land that could otherwise be used within the city. Let's see. So what we need to do is probably put that line that I wanted to do. That connects the old city to the new. And we're gonna have it basically go on the corners here, and they can hop the buses that would otherwise miss that. So it's gonna be a small line right there, but it's gonna be an important line. And already people are kinda starting to get onto the buses as they come on out. I mean, our subway obviously has been established so far, and that's actually another thing that I'm probably going to build more of now that the second half of the city has built up a little bit more. It's not going to be out of question to start building a similar system of of metros down in the lower section of the city. There. 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 We're gonna need it on the outskirt areas. There we go. So we're gonna build a little bit around here and make kind of a system akin to what we had in the old section of the city. But at the same time, we're going to connect the old with the new and see how that allows our people to go back and forth a little bit. See if that helps the traffic problems, the getting to work problems, all that, the random stuff that's poked up since then. And you know something? We're going to connect these two so that the line. Whoa. Says drag line. Where's that? Drag stop. Oh. Ah, man. Ah, there you go. So I can add these stops, and it's gonna just loop around this inside, and then come on out here. And then come back around to the other. Well, it's basically non-stop from one to the other. And then our new line, that looks actually pretty nice. Our new line is going to be busing them from here to this stop, to this stop, to this stop, to this stop. And it's going to be a short line that can actually get them from one place to another. We'll see how that helps our city. And wait a minute, isn't that our actual fire station? No, it's our police station. Our police station is in fact on fire. And our, our firefighters are getting there nice and quickly as can be expected with this new problem here. Oh, look at that. It's actually cleared up a good amount with the tweaks that I made. So, our former problem has now actually been, it's still not ideal, but it's been cleaned up a good amount. You gotta admit, that looks a lot better. Okay, but they're not chock full and not being able to move ever, at least. So I count that as a win. And that guy is saying he's not connected to power. Or, water. So we're gonna extend this up again. He just got really unlucky, because he was at the very, very edge. Seems we need a lot more commercial and industrial. Honestly, the commercial demand has been higher than I expected. But that's not going to be much of a problem, since this whole new section we can really dedicate, if we wanted to a lot more commercial than we had initially thought of doing. And these offices are going to deal with the need for industrial, or at least for a bit of that need. So here we're going to extend a little bit further out. Coming. There you go. Alright, here we go with our new sections. And on this side, right here, we're going to have more commercial. We're gonna see, it's already showing that those offices are filling up some of the demand that was industrial. So we're going to fill up some more commercial sections. Since there's not as much of a traffic thing on this side, we don't need that overpass just yet. We just need to actually get people moving in and getting those areas filled up, I think. Oof, I still don't like that. I don't know. They'll be able to handle it. Our buses are working very nicely. People are already taken to them very heavily. And we have a good amount of people in the metro, I imagine. It's looking pretty decent. We're getting so much traffic in here, which is troubling. However, I do believe make it look prettier, people will actually deal. No? No? Trust me, I'll fix all these problems over time, but I believe that right now the most important thing we can do is just try and mitigate all these different problems. In fact, upgrading the roads does make people a lot happier, at least in residential and such, because it lowers the noise pollution that any traffic, even low traffic, has. And I think it's also in part because it makes everything look a little prettier for them. So we can just drag along here and start upgrading things all willy-nilly, especially since we have the income necessary for that. Yeah, I mean, like, there's not even almost any traffic over here, and it's making them happier. So the better we can make that situation, the better I think the city will do. And we might want to actually have a lot of this in the old part of the city as well. Start upgrading, making people a lot happier with their surroundings. Our commercial was one of the major problems with happiness. Not a problem, since they actually were fairly happy. They were well into the blue, but they were the only ones that didn't have happiness that was in the, you know, the very deep sky or sea blue that we saw with the others on the happiness list. Tree. Seems as also we're getting everybody a little happier. We're seeing a lot of growth. We're now a colossal city at 44,000 people, which is, you know, it's a good milestone. And, you know, we've gotten it here. We've had, you know, less problems than you would imagine from a city at this size. Except for this damn strip of road that seems to have non-stop traffic problems. But you know something? Can't cry over spilled milk. We'll fix it over time. And it's really the only glaring problem our city seems to have, because everybody else seems to actually be in a pretty good situation at the moment. We're just doing this to make everybody else in the city just a scooch bit happier. The thing is that Bel Air Bel Air was my first district. And I think I also want to give a little back to Bel Air for being the crux from which this entire community grew up from. So, taking just a little bit of time to upgrade this stuff is not that big of a deal. Especially since you can drag and you can see all the roads that are being upgraded as I drag. So if, like, you know, the little tool misses a spot, we got a perfect little painting showing us where that little spot is. Like, come over here. You need to get right here. It's like a giant paintbrush of pretty roads. And we're almost done. We're actually seeing a lot of happiness come into this area, and a few upgrades have happened. But I also want to see where we are going to need to manipulate this area to get them to level up to the highest tier. Actually, oh, Bel Air is pretty much at the highest tier. A few of them are just shy, because they need a little more land value. But I'm not sure, like, we can do that pretty easily. Let's put a picnic area. You know what? What is this? Japanese garden. I think the Japanese garden got added in a patch, in the latest patch. And I think this is just a beautiful thing. Oh yeah, people around that area are gonna love it. Land values going up slowly but steadily. Let's put it on the edge here just for fun. This area is having trouble. Yeah, there it is. And we're going to plop another one. Yeah, let's see. By the way, not that you guys would all know this, but I have a huge love for Japanese culture. So having a little Japanese garden strewn about my city, I mean, I'd love this. This is just a fantastic little item for me personally. Now these guys, since they were the newest, they need a good influx of land value in order to raise up their want to move in and upgrade and give a little bit of love to this city. So I'm gonna go a little bit crazy on supplying that to them. Give them all sorts of parks. You know, we haven't planted one, I think, in the city yet. It's rather large, and that's why I avoid it sometimes. But it has a very nice area of influence. And that is a botanical garden. And see, it affects a very nice little patchwork of people. And I think right around this area right here needs a little bit of increased land value. So I think right about, we're gonna set down a dog park. Ah, actually, that's really big. It'll basically cut out all the area that was needing of a upgrade. We'll figure something out with that. Actually, in fact, this'll work. This'll stretch all the way over, increase them, and try and help out the commercial and such that's right over here. Which in fact probably would love something of their own. Let's put another garden and put it here. Since nobody's actually moved into this section right here, we can put down and not even worry about destroying set down buildings. I know that industrial doesn't really care as much about land value, but I do. I do. So we've had a lot of upgrades because of this. We can check out all the different buildings leveling up right here. We can obviously see that this is a max level high density residential, and they are looking beautiful. I mean, this is fantastic right here. People are moving in, upgrading. We got, this is a very nice botanical garden, and I think a lot of people in our city are going to enjoy the sights. And it seems that we're gonna need even more commercial. I don't get why we have so much commercial demand comparatively. Well, you know, it wouldn't be as big of a deal if I place them on the side of the highways here. I mean, obviously the on-ramps and everything else, actually, the busy on-ramps don't need any more, any more problems, honestly. But I'm thinking maybe we'll actually create a wholly specific commercial district. It's a little bit separate from the rest of the city. Because we have these monuments and everything else, and they are very good for, they have noise pollution, so I really don't want to put them right near, and we have a mall too, right near the commercial and the residential areas specifically. And so I'm thinking that this might work out just perfectly by creating a wholly autonomous commercial section of our city. But I think that's about it for this episode, honestly. I'd like to thank you all for watching. As always, would you kindly subscribe if you could, like if you would, and I'll see you next time on City Skylines.